Hey, Mork, you want to go see a movie tonight?
As long as there are no face huggers.
What?
Alien face huggers.
Oh, sure.
I can get that on the planet next door.
Mork and Mindy weren't just from different parts of the world. They were from different worlds altogether. Mork thought it was completely normal to wear his clothes backwards and sit on his head. Mindy sees his quirks and loves him regardless, but how did they navigate their very different backgrounds? It took some time and lots of understanding. Welcome to our podcast, Be Stronger Together. I think this is our 13th episode.
It could be.
That's amazing, and we appreciate everybody who's listening and your support. We hope that it's reaching some hearts and making people feel better.
Let's talk about how to mesh different backgrounds into a new relationship. Coming from a long marriage into a new relationship can be jarring at times.
What do you mean you don't eat tofu?
Ew. What do you mean you don't like goat roping music?
Have you never been to a live concert?
Have you ever gut a fish?
Why don't you go to the movies?
How come you like people?
When we're trying to combine two different backgrounds, if you've got love, patience, and you're trying to understand each other, nothing is impossible. These cultural differences can make for a fun and interesting relationship. I grew up in a classic suburban neighborhood with a cul-de-sac and new school clothes every September. We swam in the summer, walked everywhere, and my parents both worked. I'd say I was raised in a typical middle-class neighborhood with big cities nearby. I wouldn't say that I loved the city, but there were some fun experiences there.
I grew up in a small town with a nearby waterway we called a slough. My friends and I would fish the slough for bike parts. When I was a little older, I would ride my motorcycle out into the woods with just my rifle and fishing pole, just to spend a weekend alone for peace and quiet, and get away from the fighting and the arguing. I love the outdoors and can fix just about anything because I had to learn how to do that.
I'm mostly hippie-hearted with an outgoing personality. I'm a crunchy mama, artsy woman with a sassy wit. I love going to the theater and museums and being outside near the water. I'm a sunshine addict. If it's below 75 degrees, it's too cold for me outside. I'm a picky eater with a strong preference for fresh fruit and chocolate.
I'm guarded about people and watch for suspicious behavior. I love junk food and meat of all kinds. I love being near water with a fishing pole, preferably in the wind and rain. If it's more than 70 degrees outside, it is too hot. I used to hunt game to eat and will never turn down a hot pepper or good coffee.
So how did we match up?
We shouldn't even be close.
If we'd been on a dating app, we would have missed each other altogether.
Altogether.
Fortunately, we knew each other and had known each other for a while, so it's pretty obvious that we had more things in common.
We were open to trying new adventures together, including this podcast, for one.
We've stretched our own boundaries, and some of them have become new traditions, and some of them have been retired. There are some critical components when you're introducing new experiences, though.
These include making sure everyone feels safe and supported, having the courage to step out into new experiences.
Do you have any that felt scary to step into?
Oh, absolutely. The Greek festival, for one. So many people.
So many people. The cruise?
So many people.
A lot of people. Being confident enough to fully engage in the moment. It's easy for me to retreat if I don't feel comfortable in it.
Yeah, I have no problem engaging.
Yeah, you'll fully go for it if you're in the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. How about creating a safe atmosphere if you need to step back? Say, I don't want to be around all these people. Let's go sit over here.
Oh, yeah. And I know that I can do that, and you're fine with it. And
Yeah.
I try to make it so that if you need a stop, a pit stop, a break, whatever, we can do that. And you know you can.
I think also when you're trying something new to go slowly and take it in small bites.
Never bad advice.
Yeah, we'll just try this thing and say a gondola ride. See if we like it once. And if we do, we'll do it again, which we did.
Rushing headlong in the dark, you have a very good chance of, falling off a cliff.
Banging your head. Yeah, that could be bad. But mostly what that does is it sets up a situation where you don't feel safe with the other person. You're afraid they're going to drag you into doing something you don't really want to do.
Well, that's true. And I think part of that relationship then at that point is being able to say, I'd really rather not do that.
Right. So I'm not a very courageous person. I'm not comfortable necessarily trying new things. I'm a very cautious person. So my dad was always trying to get me out of that place and take me on adventures. And there were a lot of times I was not comfortable doing that. There was more than one time that He would take me on a ski hill that was way over my head, and I would just take my skis off and walk down the hill, yelling at him that I was never going to ski with him again. Because it's okay to encourage people to do stuff, but if you're going to push them to a place where they feel frightened, that's not healthy. Okay, I think before you, and we weren't really good at this necessarily, but I think maybe having the conversation first and then going to the experience. Mostly I'm thinking about going to the airport, although I felt like we had the conversation about what the expectations were.
We know now.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
Yes, we do.
I think being honest if you feel uncomfortable.
Always.
I don't want to shoot a bigger gun, or I don't want to go on the hike up that hill, or whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah. But, again, in my past, I wasn't always given that grace to say that. So it's taken me quite a while to just say, no, I don't want to do that. You've been good about hearing me and not trying to talk me out of it or make fun of me or whatever.
Well, it doesn't hurt my feelings if there's something you don't want to do. That's perfectly fine. You are your own person and you get to make those decisions.
So you're saying if your partner doesn't want to do something that you do want to do, you don't take it personally?
You shouldn't.
Okay. That's good advice. Which kind of takes us to not judging somebody if they don't want to do something. Or if they do want to do something that you don't want to do.
Right, either direction.
Yeah. I don't want to go super fast on the motorcycle.
And I kind of like it.
So you're respectful and you don't when I'm on the back.
Nope.
Then you don't.
I like it when you ride with me.
And then you don't tell me how fast you go when I'm not with you.
Right.
I find out when you're telling somebody else.
You shouldn't listen.
True confessions. Underlying all of this, because we're getting into a new relationship after being in a previous long marriage, probably, is that grief is still going to be simmering underneath. And some of these experiences might bring that grief back up. And again, you don't always know that ahead of time, and you could be in the moment, and then here comes that wave that overtakes you. So keep in mind that it's okay to be triggered or have memories that get stirred up, or even fears that may creep up. Just breathe through it and communicate to people around you what's going on, and just take time to regroup. Usually there's no hurry in experiencing something new. I mean, yes, if you're running away from danger, you probably don't want to stand there and have a conversation about it. But under most circumstances, I think you can say, I need a minute or 5.
Yeah, there's nothing going on that's so, ultimately time sensitive that you can't take a couple beats.
So if you're supporting somebody who's going through a grief moment, what are some things that you can do to help them through that?
Listen.
What if they don't feel like talking?
Be there. What I'm saying is, don't try to fix it.
Boys, you really can't manage somebody else's grief. It's their wave to deal with. You can't push it back. You can't take it for them. You can't take it away. You can't distract somebody from it. And we want to do all those things because it's really hard to watch somebody you love go through that. But you just have to stand there and wait till the wave goes away, and you'll still be standing on the beach, and they'll see you, and then they'll feel better.
It can be very difficult watching and not doing something. I fully understand. I really do. But I also know, as you stated, Mindy, I can't manage your grief for you. I can be there. I can listen. If you need a glass of water or juice, I can get it.
A hammer.
Absolutely. I may step back, but I will hand you the hammer.
I think we haven't really talked about that. We've talked about how to manage our own grief, but how do you help somebody? What can you do if you're watching a friend or somebody you care about having a little grief wave? Just let them know you're there. You don't even have to say anything. You just touch their hand or the shoulder or just give them a hug. Because I think grief can feel really isolating. You could be surrounded by a million people, and if that wave hits you, you can feel very isolated. So knowing that you're really not by yourself. I think we all look at our grief as individuals, and we think that other people aren't going to understand. And maybe they don't, but we all have compassion and a heart. And we may not understand exactly what you're feeling, but we may be closer to it than you think.
And when you're trying to read a situation that you might be in, depending on how long you've known the person or just strictly how well you know the person, that makes it difficult because you look for like the little cues, the little things that you can pick up on that go, oh, they want to be alone, or oh, they need a glass of water, or they need a snack, or
Support.
just something. But how do you determine that? That's kind of dicey.
You just have to try all of it. And it's not going to be the right answer every time, and it's not going to be the same solution in every situation.
No. And if they throw something at you, that might be a good indication they want to be alone at the moment.
Just duck. Duck and weave.
Duck and weave.
Yeah. Just,
Don't run in a straight line.
no, don't run in a straight line. Our scripture today comes from Numbers. It's Numbers chapter 6, verses 24 through 26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. Ultimately, I think that's what we're after is peace.
Having chaos, as we stated earlier when we opened this, my childhood, my upbringing was anything but peace. I grew up in chaos, steady diet. I much prefer peace.
That is definitely something we have in common. It's like things calm and peaceful, no drama zone. So now that we've been in this relationship for a while, some of my new favorite activities include target shooting, and I've definitely expanded my knowledge of science, like deep science, like physics and that kind of stuff, and how computers work, and some program stuff that I didn't understand before or have any interest in. I see the world with a wider lens now, and I have more compassion towards those that grew up differently than I did. My suburbia self has taken on a bit of a redneck leaning.
I eat more healthy things now and take better care of myself so I can stick around for a while. I growl at people less. I've even gone to several live concerts. Major changes for me.
You did good. We probably won't speak the same language or fully understand what drives another person to action, but we can use compassion and grace to make us stronger together. Next week, we'll be visiting Sam and Annie in Seattle. We're not going there because neither one of us like Seattle.
You.
But we're going to talk about how they view romance from the movie Sleepless in Seattle.
People who loved once are far more likely to love again.
Thanks for listening. We hope you got some good information today, and please share this with people that you think would benefit.
Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm Annie. How are you?
I'm doing great. Where are you from?
New York. How about you?
I'm from Seattle.
This jet lag is killing me. I don't know if I'll get any sleep here at all.
I could really use a nap. Why do I feel so tired?